It's Andrew and Montana from the Cruise Planners Home Office headquarters, located in sunny South Florida. We are here to talk about what is trending for 2026, which is right around the corner. Like I said, my name is Andrew. I'm the Director of Training and Multimedia here at Cruise Planners, and
I'm Montana. I'm the Director of Sales here at Cruise Planners. So yeah, I work with a lot of our partners like cruise lines and tour companies and all-inclusive. So we just wanted to get together and tell you what's on the horizon.
And it's amazing because travel, as you guys know, since you're watching this video, is booming. It's not going anywhere. It's booming. We're very proud to say that we are a $1 billion in sales company. So let's talk about 2026, right? So, we're filming this in December, but in January, it's very cold around the country. We're very fortunate. We live in South Florida. That's where our headquarters is, but it's very cold. So maybe you guys want to go on a beautiful Caribbean cruise.
Yes, and now is the time to look for that. So usually January, February, March, we see that be a very high booking time for people to book for spring break and summer while your kids are out of school. Getting those Caribbean bookings made now, that way you have the opportunity to be able to pick your cabin. Maybe you want a balcony or a suite and you want those to be available. So now is the time to start looking for those. There's great pricing, a lot of good offers out there. And now is the time to look. And even we were talking right before this about how a lot of the major cruise lines now have even shorter itineraries on some of their newer ships. So this is the time to start looking for that.
For sure. And it seems like there's a new ship coming out every 5 minutes,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Right. So friendly plug for cruiseplanners.com, where you can learn more about all of the incredible partners that we work with. But let's say maybe you've only done Caribbean sailings, right? I know for me, I've really only done a cruise in the Caribbean. I know you're like, what the heck? And you work at Cruise Planners? But there are so many different itineraries out there. So if you have done the short Caribbean, even maybe the long 7-day to 14-day Caribbean, and you want to explore more, can you kind of talk about all the itineraries that are out there, because it's limitless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So usually we see people who take their first cruise Caribbean, maybe their first couple of cruises are Caribbean. It's easy to get to, and the prices are so attractive that it really draws people in. But once you're on that first cruise, they definitely want to keep cruising. So definitely Europe, exploring Europe and being able to be immersed in the culture. Asia, river cruising. Alaska is definitely a big one. This is definitely another really good time to book Alaska. There has been a tremendous amount of tonnage and ships in Alaska. So again, now is the time to book before that space sells out.
Yeah. So speaking of Alaska, right, it seems like that's the natural progression, right? A lot of people do Caribbean, and then the next destination, especially if they're cruise-centric people, that they want to go to Alaska, which who doesn't want to go to Alaska?
Absolutely.
But, with Alaska, it's kind of, you want to put a whole vacation together. You want to get their day of. It's too nerve-wracking. So pre and post, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a lot of the cruise lines offer what they call a cruise tour. So this cruise tour includes hotel pre or post, some tours in those destinations, maybe some rail travel to be able to see multiple destinations. And it's all within the cost. So you're really just booking one package. The cost is there up front, and those things are already included.
Yeah, absolutely. Another segment I think we should definitely talk about, since we're staying in cruising, is luxury cruising.
Yes.
And luxury is a subjective word, because we both have very small children. So luxury for us is kind of leaving them in a room somewhere, right? Where that's the luxury for us. But for other people, it's all about the food and the culinary and the amenities on board and the cabin. So luxury is it's a segment that is booming, especially with cruise planners. Can you talk about that?
When we talk about luxury, what you're really looking at is the price may be higher, but that is because more things are included. So some luxury lines are all inclusive, meaning every meal, every drink, every excursion is included, while others, kind of dabble in what's included. And you'll see that reflective in the price, or depending on the itinerary or what they can include. But really the experience is you'll see in the staff and the food, and everything is just top of the line. And so that is definitely another progression. People take Caribbean cruises on big cruise lines, and then they think, okay, maybe I want something a little bit more intimate, a ship that's a little bit smaller, something, maybe the destination is more exotic, and so these smaller ships can get into these smaller ports. River cruising, another great option because river cruise ships can get into these much smaller ports. And really, when you're on a river cruise, you really get off the ship and you're directly in the destination.
Yeah.
Most times, you don't have to take a taxi or a shuttle anywhere. You just get off and you're there. It's really like a floating hotel in a sense.
Right, and a lot of our advisors, really, they only focus on selling river cruising. It's a huge part of their business. And again, there are always new players in the space, and everything
Yes.
is just kind of, this is the progression that we talk about, right? But, going back to luxury for a second, a lot of the mainstream lines now have what they call the ship within a ship
Yes.
concept. So if you are brand loyal, which is great, you might want to say, you know what, in 2026, we're going to book that cabin in their suite collection,
Correct.
or so they can, you get the best of both worlds. You can still have that big ship experience, right? But you also have somewhere where you are completely separated from the rest of the guests. You never have to interact with anybody who else is on the ship. So this is another part of our industry that has really, really expanded with Norwegian. They have the Haven
Yes.
and Princess the Sanctuary and Celebrity the
Yes.
Retreat. So it's another progression, right? That people, they tend to, I've been in a balcony. Let me try the suite class.
Yes, and one good thing for that is when you're traveling multi-generational. So if
Yes,
the grandparents,
yes.
the parents, and maybe even the teenage children or young children are traveling, maybe the grandparents don't want to, they want to see their grandchildren, but they don't want to see everybody else's grandchildren. So they
Smart.
want to be in that, luxury suite area where they maybe have their own restaurant, their own bar, and they have, some time to themselves, and then they can come out of that area and go to the pool with their grandchildren and their children and, do everything that everybody else can do.
For sure. And listen, guys, we at Cruise Planners, yes, it's in our name, but we sell more than just cruises, okay? So we also are the #1 seller of Sandals Vacations, which I think is a huge,
Yes.
I don't know that the rest of the world out there knows that, but we are the #1 seller of sandals. So in addition to sandals and beaches, we sell all land, right? We sell
Yes.
escorted tours, private tours. Can you talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
so we sell everything. Like Andrew mentioned, all inclusive, like Sandals is a huge part of our business. This is where you fly to the hotel, but it's really more than just a hotel.
Yeah.
It's all inclusive. Your food and your drinks are included. These are, mostly in the Caribbean, Mexico, Bahamas area. And it's wonderful. It's really a great experience. There are some that are family friendly and then some that are adults only. So kind of, what we talked about before, there's something for everyone. And then we do all sorts of land travel. We do escorted tours. These are, maybe tours throughout Europe where there are assigned dates and you can select, what date you want to go on. And the tour is pre-planned for you. So you really don't have to know everything about where you're going to go and where you're going to stay and what you're going to do because these companies are doing it all for you.
That's the type of travel. I don't want to think about it. I want to
Exactly.
leave it with somebody else's
Yeah,
hands.
so this is, they're vetting it. You're going to the best places. You're going to see all the sites, but you don't have to do the work. And even your travel agent really doesn't have to do all of the work either because these companies have vetted everything. Then there's rail travel. If you'd like to do like something like a Rocky Mountaineer and travel through the Canadian Rockies and see the sites that way, that's it's definitely on my bucket list, something I've never done and would love to do.
Yeah.
Then you could also get really exotic and maybe you want to do a safari.
Yes.
That is something that is incredible. And our agents are able to help you book that. But again, we work with these top suppliers who are really vetting everything and you'll be in good hands and you'll get to even two ways to do it. Like I said, there's escorted options where they're putting it together for you, or there's options where you tell your agent exactly what you want to do and they can piecemeal it together for you with these vetted companies.
For sure. And we also, in addition to that, we definitely sell the mouse. We are a
Yes.
big seller of Disney. And we actually, we have a great relationship with them, not only from Disney Cruise Line side, but also from Walt Disney World, Disneyland, international parks. So, talk to your advisor about that. And then the last kind of thing I want to wrap up with is if you're watching this video, you might say, what do I need a travel agent for?
Oh,
Those are from the
yes.
80s or the 90s. What do I need it for? I could do this all myself. I could go online and do all the research. I think this is the most important question. Montana, tell us why someone should use a Cruise Planners travel advisor.
Yes. Well, the one thing I want you all to know is that you're not paying extra to use a Cruise Planners travel advisor. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and I don't mean to interrupt, but in most cases, guys, It's less when you work with a
Yes.
Cruise Planners advisor because
Yes.
we have these, like she said,
We
this,
have group rates.
Yes.
We hold space to be able to have some sort of advantage for you. But absolutely. So that's first and foremost is you're not paying more. And second is, do you really want to spend your time doing all of the work when our advisors are the experts? This is their job. This is what they spend time learning. This is how, they make a living. This is really, they know best. And you don't want to get somewhere and think that you're staying in a 4 to 5 star hotel and get there, and it's really not, because that's what Google may have told you.
Yeah, we've
But
kind
Google
of all,
isn't always right.
right. And we've all been there, right? We've all seen the pictures online and then we open the door and oh my gosh, what just happened? And another unique thing about Cruise Planners is we actually are the largest home-based travel franchise company. It's a mouthful. But what does that mean? So all of our advisors are franchise owners. They are their own small business owner, and they have to go through some pretty rigorous training to be able to sell vacations to you, the consumer.
Yes.
So we have ongoing training to make sure that they're doing the exact right thing for you as a guest. And you know what? It does happen when you're on vacation. Things go wrong. So having the peace of mind as someone who is your advocate in case something goes wrong is just, to me, is priceless. I think that is just, all of my trips for a while now, not just because I work here, have been booked using a travel agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely agree. They know the right thing to do. They know the right people to call. They know to book you travel insurance, and they know how to keep you safe, and that's what's important.
For sure. So if you are thinking, wow, this all sounds too good to be true, head on over to www.cruiseplanners.com and you can put in your zip code because, let me also mention, we have 3,000 franchise owners across the United States. So when you put your zip code in and search by the, how far they are, you're going to find one. So do us a favor, go to cruiseplanners.com, put in your zip code and start working with someone who you can trust and book that vacation of your dreams because listen, 2026, it's going to be the year of travel.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Montana, thank you for joining me. Good job.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.